tips on street performance are taken from the book Street Theatre and Other Outdoor Performances, none of the opinions which Naomi and Amelia agree with. Thank you. Top tips for street performing.
You need to be seen by as many people as possible. So if either you or the audience is raised up so much the better. The ideal is an amphitheatre situation with the audience on a series of steps and the performer below. This encloses the sound waves and creates a more focused, intimate relationship with the audience.
Top tips for street performing.
Night or day, you don't want a strong light behind you. Otherwise you'll be silhouetted and the audience will be squinting. At night, performing directly under a street light will give a rather ghastly effect.
Hey everyone. How are you?
That's too bright. You can see it's bright. Just give us a street light.
Top tips for street performing.
In bright sunlight, it is best if the sun is shining from one side, because if the performer is squinting, all those important eye expressions will be lost.
Top tips for street performing.
Where the audience is concerned, proximity is important. They need to feel that you can physically touch them.
Top tips for street performing.
There are basically two main approaches for attracting an audience. One is to be loud, large and colourful. The other is to be subtle, starting by relating on a one-to-one basis with the audience. Loud music and tantalising glimpses of skills and spectacle will add to the desired effect of creating expectation. Interact with one person at a time, or just be a traditional barker.
Roll up, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're all ready for this fantastical show we have made for you. Technically, this is a street. Technically, because it's made with the use of technology. Technically, you're all in for a treat today, as Amelia and I have a gift for you. The gift of time travel!
It's really lovely to have you here today. I'm very excited. Welcome, welcome, welcome everyone.
Top tips for street performing.
Now that your us and them situation has been created, beware of annoying other street performers with your insensitive use of drumming. Also, with new people arriving all the time, you really need crowd control.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stay with us. If you'd like to stand back out of the way of the people passing by, don't obstruct them, you know. We don't want the police calling on us, for making such a rowdy crowd.
Come on everyone.
Top tips for street performing.
Simply laying out interesting looking props is enough to indicate that a show is about to start. Preparing for a show either by putting on makeup, doing a physical warm-up, or carefully placing props can be an act in itself.
Right, I think we're just about ready. Perfect. Brilliant. I'm excited.
Top tips for street performing.
In Northern Europe, particularly in Britain, where there is such a universal paranoia of being embarrassed in public, it is more difficult for people to be in the front row because of fear of being dragged out and forced to participate. You are basically being judged on your ability to achieve a front row audience who don't look scared. It is important that you define the space.
Maybe we can do it like the mamas did. Well, you know, they used to have this comical character with a broom and it would sweep out all the people out of the way so they define this performing space. Come on. Come on, everybody, just stand back. Give us some space to perform. Come on.
Are you serious? We're trying to do a show.
Get too close now. Come on.
We'd really appreciate, if you could give us some space right here, Are we okay?
Yes. All okay. Ready?
Okay, I think I'm
Ready? Whoa. See that?
Top tips for street performing. If a juggler drops their clubs, which they inevitably do because of the wind, the worst thing they can do is to pretend it did not happen. Their embarrassment embarrasses the audience. Remember, you have the subtext of there is all of you there and just us here, and we can all have fun together because we are experts in fun. Top tips for street performing.
It is liberating to see people without fear. Fear of embarrassment, of humiliation, of failure. Even lampposts can be used to leap upon if one is feeling agile enough, of authority, of physical contact, or of treading on other people's political niceties. The public is challenged, but they'd all feel, I wish I could be like that.
Street theatre can be defined as a form of communication in recent times to share social messages and create awareness among the masses regarding critical issues such as commercialization. It breaks the formal barriers and approaches the people directly. In the streets, it reaches people who wouldn't attend a workshop or go to the theatre. Thus, the coverage of addressed people can be even higher, and social change is another step closer. Is another step closer. We're doing the order of the timeline. 1968. Action Space formed a company that built their own venues,
Large-scale inflatable structures to be situated in public spaces with a view to encouraging public participation in combined arts activities. They utilize the derelict buildings, festivals, schools, abandoned lots, shopping centres, galleries, parks and streets during their work with young people and adults. Action Space also developed and maintained their own multi-purpose art venue in Camden, namely the old piano factory on Harwood Street and Drill Hall on Cheney Street. Their policy, they formed at a time when political and social changes were taking place across the country. Action Space was concerned with a number of relatable issues: the commodification of the arts controlled by the dealers and investors, the developments of high-rise housing estates that they believed would become the ghettos for an underclass, the impact of redevelopment on community, the lack of spontaneity and community and social life, the lack of child-centered and education play space. Okay. A period of rapid expansion between 1968 and 72 led Action Space to define its aim and objectives more clearly. Then came the Paris Revolution, anti-Vietnam War demonstrations. The happenings started in 1969. They occur anywhere and are often multidisciplinary, with a non-linear narrative and the active participation of the audience. Key elements of happening are planned, and artists sometimes keep room for improvisation. This new media art aspect to happenings eliminates the boundaries between the artwork and its viewer. In the late 60s, perhaps due to depiction in films of hippie culture, the term was much less specific and used to mean any gathering of interest from a pool hall meetup or jamming of a few young people to a beer glass of fancy formal party. Another very inspiring company that was founded in the 1970s, the Salakta Balloon Band. Their policy was to create a magical world of celebration of the childlike mind, using the elements of clown, workshops and special projects, with audiences of any and every age, taking theatre to the people wherever they were. Performance venues, Oval Houses, Battersea Art Centre, ICE, Old People's Homes, pub, theatre, church halls, parks, hospitals, street festivals, schools, European festival circuit. Winchester Hat Fair started back in 1974. Named after the tradition of throwing donations into performance hats, first burst onto the Winchester scene in 74 as a buskers festival. It has since developed a strong reputation and following, providing a weekend filled with hundreds of colourful and exciting performances. The festival has now joined forces with the city's 99-year-old theatre, Theatre Royal Winchester, to become a part of creative enterprise at the cultural heart of Winchester. Hat Fair doesn't charge the audience a penny for most performance. We can show your appreciation by putting coins in the artist's hat after the performance. One of the great pleasures of the Street Art Festival is that they can make you slow down and put the wonder back into everyday life. Wherever you were in Winchester at this year's art fair, you could hear the distant sound of the laughter, as if the whole town was smiling together. Oh, beautiful.
Top tips for street performing. The show and narrative must build up to climax. The build-up must have a payoff at the end, even if it's not the expected one. A way to create this might be to simply state what the final attraction will be, since it is the visual effect which is the payoff. Take yourself back to the 15th century minstrel time maybe, and tell a tale. Top tips for street performing.
There is danger of building up too much expectation if the payoff is not that wonderful or taking so long about it that the end result is a disappointment. If the audience are getting bored or restless, then pace will need to be quickened but not rushed. Otherwise, control is lost and it looks desperate.
Once upon a time, there was a girl who loved to sit in the middle of the street to tell stories about street theatre. She would sit on her rocking chair with her big book of street theatre, history, and tell a different tale. She'd tell stories about these newer theatre practices that are performed outside traditional theatre buildings, community centres, clubs, libraries, hospitals, churches and church halls, schools, art centres, public squares,
Rock festivals.
rock festivals, canal boats, motorway service stations, art galleries, living rooms, pubs, farm spaces and site-specific performances. She would tell anyone who wanted to stop and listen. She thinks that street theatre is something that brings communities together. She eagerly tells her audience about flash mobbing. The recent phenomenon of flash mobbing has created a form of public theatre facilitated by the digital communication possibilities of the internet and mobile phone technology. The theatrics of the flash mobs have a clear affinity with the happenings of the 1960s. The flash mob may bear little resemblance to the conventional image of theatre. Plays, play scripts, stages, with or without proscenium arches. Lighting, costumes, makeup, and actors learning and reciting lines, watched by audiences seated in rows. Even though one might assume street theatre is outdoor theatre, this is not always the case. Flash mobbing can sometimes be indoors. We all have seen that T-Mobile advert. One could argue that most people who have seen a flash mobbing event have actually been sat at home watching the TV or on the internet. How many of us, thanks to the development of technology, have been able to watch and appreciate a flash mob performance without physically being there to see it live? How many of you are watching me say this live? Well, we are bringing street theatre to you because, well, you know, it's raining out here, and let's face it, none of you would be stood here very long if this was the assessment. Moving on to a tale about living history. Taken from the book, The Cambridge Companion to Modern British Culture. Well, living history and role-playing society members reenact or recreate battles, tournaments, ceremonies, or just everyday lives from past historical periods, ranging from Roman times to the Second World War. These societies offer participants a double kind of pleasure. On the one hand, there is a historian's pleasure in recreating the conditions of the past, which these societies often do in loving and scholarly detail. Traditional crafts and skills, such as basket weaving or blacksmithing, are thoroughly researched and often revived. On the other hand, for many historical role players, a more primitive attraction is that of play fighting. Much historical reconstruction revolves around combat of one sort or another, and many societies will offer regular training in stage fighting and weapons use, as well as the opportunity to live out the fantasy of being an Elizabethan fencing master, or medieval knight. Living history is increasingly also used in museums, who employ performance in order to attempt to immerse and involve the visitor in a sense of the past. The Living History Village of Woodham, for example, recreates English rural life in the south of England at the outbreak of the English Civil War. Thank you. Visitors encounter villagers dressed in period costume, who both perform and interpret activities and events of everyday 17th century rural life. At their worst, living history performances repeat the cliches of a sanitised heritage industry. At best, they offer an imaginative engagement that challenges received notions of the past. The end.
Top tips for street performing.
Make up for this dramatic tension for the audience by having a visual surprise, such as one image emerging from a previous one. Most might call this a slideshow of some sort.
Thank you very much.
Top tips for street performing. There is often no entrance fee in outdoor performance. There is no seating, and nobody wants to stand in the rain or sit in the dirt. If it is raining and for some reason you continue on with the show, it's best to let the audience have whatever shelter there is available. But let's be serious. If anyone does have to stand, they will be reluctant to stay more than 45 minutes. An hour is possible, but not much longer. Top tips for street performing.
Let your art speak for itself, darling.
Hello, everybody! My name is Jackie.
Jackie. I don't like that name.
What name do you want?
Chaucer?
Okay. Hello, everybody! My name is Chaucer. Are you alright? Are you alright?
Yeah.
Oh, this is not working. This is pathetic. It doesn't even move.
Yes, it does. Look. Brilliant.
In welfare state, they have grandiose, magnificent sculptures. What the hell is this?
Well, I'll tell you what it is. It's our first try. It's our first try. And it's bloody brilliant.
How do you know we still have people's attention?
Come on, be realistic. We would have heard everyone leaving. Maybe it's time to wrap up then.
Right, everybody. Thank you for being such an amazing audience. We adored your presence here. And we are really lucky that this is not the 1500s where our ears would have been branded for music.
We could have been whipped over here.
For begging for money, you know what I mean?
Fortune telling, busking, being a minstrel.
So, you know, we're lucky that it's not those times. I mean.
We are. We haven't been subjected to that treatment by you. And for that, I think it's important that you guys get a treat?
The money is always greener in somebody else's face. We scream about moving up there, but it's just a big dumb race. Just look at the world around you. Right here, please just pay some more. Such wonderful things around you. What more is you looking for? Out on the street, out on the street. Darling, it's better out where it's wetter. Take it from me. Out on the street we work all day. Out in the sun we slave away. While we devoting full time to charming out on the street. Out here all the acts are crappy, as they're sad with their payroll. The boss sometimes just don't like it. They're just coppers in their home. But acts on the streets are lucky. They're in for a brighter day. One day when the boss gets angry, police will be on their way. Out on the street, out on the street. Darling, it's better out where it's wetter. Take it from me. Out on the street we work all day. Out in the sun we slave away. While we devoting full time to charming out on the street. 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 All right. Out on the street. Yep. Out on the street. We're done. Out on the street. Stop now. Out on the street. Hey. Out on the street. Hey. Out on the street. Hey. Out on the street. Hey.